Order this meeting of the Somerset Berkeley Regional High School Regional School Committee at 6:12. Due notice having been posted. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions may be made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. We'll do a roll call of members present. Ms. Ferreira.
Present.
Ms. Ashley.
Present.
Ms. Corville.
Present.
Mr. Pasternak.
Present.
Ms. Solomon.
Present.
The chair is present. Our student reps are not here this evening. Also with us this evening are our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jeffrey Schoonover, our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Raquel Pellerin, our Director of Curriculum, Ms. Elizabeth Haskell, our Director of Special Education, Ms. Megan Ashton, our Principal, Dr. Susan Brailsford, and our Recording Secretary, Ms. Robin Vaccaro. I'd ask if you're able to please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Please note that the next regularly scheduled meeting of this committee will be held on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in the Somerset Berkeley Regional High School Library. The first item on the agenda this evening under Student Teaching and Learning is our student internship presentation.
Just for some background from people at home, maybe at the last school committee meeting, you had asked to kind of hear about our internship program and how far we've really come. So we invited Melissa Andreessen and a few of our interns to present tonight.
Great, thank you.
Here we are.
You're here.
Hi, folks. I'm Melissa Andreessen. I have been with the district for 21 years. I have worked in every building in the district, and here I am now in the biggest room in the district. And this is where my home is. I run the media center. I'm the capstone coordinator and the internship coordinator. So I kind of do a few different things, but the biggest part of my job is working with these interns, and they're just amazing young people. So I am only going to take a few minutes of your time. I know that folks wanted to know a little bit more about the program, so I'm going to fill you in. And then I have one intern who you see here at home, Emily. Her car broke down, but she was willing to present from home. I have Aisha, who's here somewhere, I don't know what, there she is, who's going to present. And then poor Giselle had pneumonia and the flu last week, but she's here all night, so she said, I'll present too. So she's going to pitch it. One of our construction fellows was supposed to present and he had to work tonight, so he couldn't. Here we go. So this is what I'm going to be talking about just for the next few minutes, about how our internship program supports our vision of the graduate and our strategic plan. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the models that we have and my hopes and dreams for where they might go, how our partnerships have expanded and what we're doing now as interns, our essential skills that we learn and the curriculum that the students are using, and then the most important part of the program, the people, so our kids and their mentors. We are all very familiar with the vision of the graduate, and part of that is giving graduates or graduating folks who are resilient, independent, and empathetic. And these are some of the skills that our students get to work on every day because they're out in the community, and we're giving them the skills to work with multiple populations of people. And I'll tell you a little bit more about where they all are and how exciting that is. What are we teaching them? We're teaching them career readiness. And these are our almost grown-ups, but they're not really there. And I know we are trying to get folks ready for the job markets and also college. And some of the things that they need to be able to do to be successful are these things. Time management. It's a tough one. Time management is a tough one for our folks, and we work on that because their schedules are very scattered. They really have to be on top of when they have class, when they have internship, and to make sure that they're on time. Our kiddos use critical thinking skills all the time, here in class, but also out on the jobs. And you're going to hear from some of our folks who are in very different internships, which really, they're exploring different avenues, but then they're also sharing with their other interns. So they're learning about things that maybe they hadn't heard of or thought about before. And then ethical awareness, which falls under this. It's kind of interesting. Folks have to sign contracts about confidentiality and safety. And we really hold these kiddos accountable for being professionals. So if they're not, we have very high expectations. We call them in. Unfortunately, not every student gets to complete the internship, but most of them do. And you know if they are, they're amazing students. Our vision of the graduate also talks about empathy, inclusiveness, and respectful communication. One of the most difficult things for our kiddos, and this is true for our capstone kids too, is calling people. Calling people on the phone and introducing yourself. So we ask our interns to actually make connections with their mentors and talk to them on the phone and then go for a visit. Which they're often apprehensive to do, but they're doing beautifully. And then we also work on just what you should do when you're in a professional environment. If your internship starts at 9, get there at 10 of 9. Always be proactive, ask them what they need you to do. Don't just sit around in downtime. And then how to be social, we just talked about that. What do I do when I am in a room full of people that I've never met before? Because that happens to them a lot. What does this do for them? I see already, and it's January, with this group of kiddos, that they're starting to get more confidence and more aware of what they need to do professionally. When I met some of them, they could not send an email, so those are some of the things that we work on. Our strategic plan, this matches several objectives. One is expanding opportunities for kids out in the community. You're all familiar with this, and then building partnerships. So we started with 2 or 3 interns at the fire department here in Somerset. Last year we expanded to both fire departments and then also the elementary schools. And now when you hear where these kiddos are, you're going to be floored. It's super exciting to give them opportunities they didn't think that they would have. We have several models here at the school to try to be flexible for our student schedules. We have some students who have 2 class blocks taken by internship, some with 3, and then the max is 4. So they're out for a good portion of the week. And then we do have some students who just do Wednesday afternoons. Giselle and Aisha are 2 of them. And those are students who are taking a bulk of AP classes and they really want to fill their schedule. It's more of an abridged internship, and they get to go every Wednesday for 1 long block and then Blue Ribbon block. We're trying to be very creative, and the more that we're trying to expand this program, we see that it is more and more difficult. We have kids working out on construction sites, auto body shops, our elementary schools where we have a lot of kids working. The time of those days don't work out, so we're facing the reality that down the line, if we have more and more kiddos, we're going to have to look at their schedule and try to give them some sort of a consistent time that they can spend at their internship placements. So where are we now? This year we have amazing interns. I have Zach, who is right here at the Somerset Fire Department. Can't thank them enough. They have their own curriculum that they work on with our kiddos. Jason is over in Berkeley. They're both going to be taking their EMT course in the spring. And their goal right now is to become firefighters. We have 3 folks over at the Somerset Public Schools, Olivia Enos, Olivia DeMello, and Callie Burns. And they are working with multiple grade levels. And if you could hear the conversations, we do a book study here for future teachers. And if you could hear from the beginning of the year till now how their language changes and how excited they are and what it's like to be an overwhelmed teacher and when they come in to talk about that. But they're using language from Responsive Classroom that we use in the district, and I couldn't be prouder. We expanded this year. We have 1 student, Juliana. She is at Little Red because she wants to be a preschool teacher. And then super exciting, we have Giselle, who's recording for you all the time. She is at Somerset Access TV. We have Aisha, who's going to talk to you, and she's at Art and Lace Bridal in the middle of town. We have Hunter, who's working at Model LLC, which is a construction company. Caleb, who is at Pereira Enterprise. And then Emily, who is here on our Google Meet, and she is working for hospice care right now. What our mentors are working with right now with all of our interns is the gradual release of responsibility. At the beginning of the year, our interns want to jump in and be full partners, and they're learning that that's not the case. You know, they're adults in the eyes of some of the small children that they're working with, but they're still students. There's a lot to learn no matter where you are. We're teaching them, as I said, about accountability and expectations. Dr. Brelsford and myself run a really tight ship, and we are in with meetings with the kiddos all the time and in constant contact with their mentors, and they give them feedback every month. Well, they give it to me, and then I pass on that constructive criticism. I am on with mentors via email or phone calls every day. We're trying to foster independence, just like we do with all of our students. I'm trying to cut back on my reminders for them and see if they can start to navigate those things on their own. We're working on employability skills. We talked a little bit about emails and professional conduct. We're also working on resume writing. And then reflection, one of the toughest things for them, and that's based off the feedback. What am I doing well, but what do I need to work on? And how can I help myself do that? And who can I go to if I can't? The most important part of the program are people, people, people. So our community partners. I can't say enough about these folks. The amount of time and attention and scaffolding that they're giving to these students for zero monetary compensation is crazy. And if you think about our elementary school teachers, who every minute of their day is taken by giving our students what they need, and then they're making room for our kids. Some of the conversations I have with our auto mechanic shop in Fall River, they're actually modeling with that kiddo, and they're letting him shadow, then they're guiding him through, and then they'll send me an email or an update and say he's now doing oil changes on his own. So it's just fascinating, but the folks that we have are great. They're wonderful with our kids, and because our kids are so great, some of them are volunteering to do it again next year, even when these kids are gone, because they have like a connection with them, but they're going to stay on with us. Of course, me and Dr. Brelsford, we spend so much time together. If I don't see her for a day, she's like, "Where have you been?" I'm like, "Here I am." And we're together at least once a month for a formal meeting, and pretty much every day. And then, as I said, the interns, they're doing all the hard work. They're growing. Sometimes it's painful. They are doing such a beautiful job, and I could not be prouder of them. For their perseverance, some of them have had to overcome some significant hardship. I think Emily's going to talk about that and how her intern placement actually changed. So you're going to hear from Emily, then you're going to hear from Aisha, and then you're going to hear from Giselle. So Em, I'm going to make you bigger. I'll let all the interns present to you, and if you have any questions, just let me know.
All right, thank you.
All right, let me make you bigger, honey. There we go. Is she big enough for you to see?
Yes.
Perfect.
Am I good?
Yes, and they can hear you and see you and your slides, honey.
All right, awesome. Good evening, everybody. My name is Emily Almeida. Unfortunately, I couldn't be with you all today, but I'm very excited to present my slideshow here with you anyways. So for my internship, I work as a CNA, which I will move on in the slideshow. So obviously, my name is Emily Almeida. I'm a senior here, and I would like to go to college for nursing. I plan to obtain my RN license. I currently work part-time at a hospice organization named Canada Hospice. The office that I work out of is located in Fall River, but they have a secondary office in Gardner. I also work per diem and used to work part-time and do my internship at Clifton Rehab Nursing Facility in Somerset. And these two organizations are where I attended my internship. My mentor, her name is Vivian Demers. She's happily married with 4 kids. She has 3 grandkids. She obtained the title of MSN RNDC, and she's been a nurse for over 30 years. She is the executive director of Hanover Hospice, and she graduated from BCC for her RN and continued her education at UMass Dartmouth for her MSN and BSN. She even taught nursing at BCC for the fundamentals class first semester, as well as the student clinical rotation. So not only is she a good person, but she also has such a great education that she is able to use and teach with me. This is us together. More about her is that she developed the hospice program in 2005 in an effort to provide a greater continuity of care throughout a person's journey as they age and need increasing levels of care. There was a notable need for hospice services within the community, and having gone through the experience of her mother's death, it became important to her that people felt humanized, safe, comfort, and provide education to staff and family providing end-of-life care. She strives to be fair while managing a diverse hospice team. A quote that I gathered from her was, "I'm very proud to have the most wonderful team of hospice staff and volunteers in the," I can't read it, but I'm assuming it says southeastern end of Massachusetts.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is also us again. My expectations were sort of in the middle. I had expected my internship to be just like a regular day of work. I had started my internship at a job that I worked at for almost 2 years, so I worked there part-time, pretty full, like all the time. So I had expected all of my internship days to go exactly like how my typical work day would go, and that is not true. I had to struggle going back and forth and coming early, leaving late, and working through different times that were not typical for both my internship placement and for me. And then I also expected that my internship would take a lot of stress away from the typical school year, which it definitely did. For my growth, I believe that my job has helped me learn so much about the nursing field. I have met so many people and learned so much. My patients tell me stories that I would never be able to get anywhere else. I have strengthened my skills in empathy, responsibility, encouraging dignity, and grief. My strengths are my caring skills, and I'm able to bring joy and comfort during people's worst times. For the second half of this school year, I hope to increase my knowledge about nursing. Now that I've been working as a CNA for 2 years, I hope to be able to take classes and further my education. By doing my internship, I'm allowed to have my evenings free from having to work. Therefore, I can focus more on my homework and properly take care of myself. Last year, I worked the whole school year in the evening, and by doing that, it made me do homework at work, and that just took away from both work and my homework. I was going through it quick. So I'm so glad to get to work during the school day and then also go home and be able to relax and fully focus on my homework so I can feel like I'm actually making the most out of my school time and gathering all the information that I needed. It was a little hard to, as Mr. Grayson said, I did have to switch my internship about a quarter of the way through the year. It was hard, but it was easy at the same time because I had such a great support system to help me. I had to switch due to it just becoming too much. My previous internship placement was not giving me the opportunity that I needed to grow. So I had to interview, reapply, and basically get a whole other job. And then I had to reapply and interview with Ms. Andreessen to get her to approve this switch. And thank God she did. And I'm just so lucky to be a part of this program. So thank you all.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks. You can hold on if you want to listen, but I also know you're at home, so you don't have to, but I am going to brag about you just for a couple minutes. So Emily is an all-A student here at Somerset Berkeley. She's certainly not telling you the entire story. This is a kiddo who would go into the nursing home at 6 a.m. to start her shift, get in an hour and a half, come to school, do a full day of schoolwork, and then go back at night. And then on the days where she would intern, she would still start in the morning to get her hours in, crack of dawn, come in, do a couple of hours of school, leave and do her internship, and then go back after school after coming back for English or math. So she might be saying, yeah, there was a difficult transition in the middle, but she was going in before and after school every single day and keeping all A's. And if you heard what she said, she didn't say she wanted to make it easier on her. She said that when she was doing homework at work, she wasn't doing a great job for them, and her homework wasn't what she wanted it to be. So this is the caliber of students that we're working with. And just to speak a little to when she had to transition, unfortunately, she was working those long days and maybe not getting the breaks or time that she should have gotten. She did everything right. She was a problem solver, which has led us to, treat her more as an adult. She came to me saying, this is what's happening, didn't ask me to solve her problem. She had already met on her own with the HR department. She had already met with her supervisor. She had already researched all of the laws about safe working conditions and how old you need to be to work a certain amount of hours. She did all that. And then she just said to me, so I don't think this is going to work out, but I've already looked into something else, and that was hospice. And the woman who she works with can't say enough about M. I can't either, and we talk about it here all the time at school, that what a noble profession to want to get into. And M is just so kind and compassionate. We share stories. I am learning to be a little bit of a nurse in our school book club that we have. But yeah, so she's minimizing her dedication to both school and her, career aspirations. So well done, Em. Thank you. I'm going to minimize you down. Yep, she will. I will call. All right. So, Aisha, do you want to come up? All right, folks. This is Aisha Imran, and as I said to you before, she is working at Art and Lace in the middle of town. I will let you hear from her. And you can just swipe honey up there. If it doesn't work, we're going to use the.
Okay, is it?
Okay. Yeah, you would have to go on that side if you want to, because it's a little stiff. Or you can tell me and I'll do the clicker.
Okay. Oh, you're just slide it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
So hello everyone, my name is Aisha Imran. I'm a senior here at SBR and I've been here all 4 years. And last year when I was a junior, when I was making my schedule, I found out that we had the internship program, and I was super intrigued by it because I wanted to actually work in the field where I was going to instead of just sitting in a classroom all day. And when I found the opportunity, I wanted to take advantage of it. So this year I'm working at Art and Lace Studio, which is a bridal boutique at County Street. So it's just a couple blocks down, and it's super convenient, easy. And so I reached out to the mentor and the girl that runs it, and she was super happy about it. She was she's an entrepreneur by herself, so she has no one else that works for her. So she really wanted somebody else to talk to, converse with. So I thought it was a really good opportunity. So yeah, these are some of the pictures of her bridal boutiques and the dresses. And she's also a photographer, so these are pictures that she took by herself. So yeah, I'll continue. Okay. So who am I? So my name is Aisha Imran, like I said before. I'm the eldest of 3 siblings. I've always been intrigued with fashion and styling. I love photography, modeling, and designing. And all these dresses are actually her bridesmaid dresses. So she does marketing online for social media. She has her own website. She has her Instagram page. So she wanted content. So I was available to model for her and take photos. And so for SBRHS, some electives I've taken is Intro to Fashion my freshman year, and then I took Advanced Fashion, which is adding on to that intro program, and then I took Graphic Design and then Digital Photography, which I'm taking this year. And I not only love the creative part of fashion, but also the business side of it. And this year I've done clubs all throughout all my high school experience, throughout the journey. But this year I'm serving as a president of the club DECA, which is a business club. It's all about entrepreneurship, marketing, finance. So I'm happy to be the president of it and include both the fashion and learn about the business side. And after graduation, I plan to attend a 4-year university and major in either digital marketing or brand management. So a little bit about my mentor. Her name is Samantha Almeida. She is the owner and founder of the studio. She is a fashion designer, photographer, stylist, artist and entrepreneur, and all those interests are super similar to mine, so we relate a lot when we're talking and working with each other. So her little bit about her story is that she is from Florida, but she moved to Massachusetts in her teen years to attend Johnson & Wales University in Rhode Island to attend a fashion program. And that's where she kind of got all her knowledge about fashion and business and how to open up her own shop. So she also attended BCC for 2 years, which she took drawing classes. So throughout her studio, she has all like paintings and drawings that she took, and it's super custom. So everybody that comes in has like a feel of like this is like something meaningful to her. And so throughout her life, she has been at countless retail stores, and this is before she started her own business. So she was a manager at Target and Banana Republic, and about 2 years ago, she purchased the studio, and she started her own bridal shop. And it's a super elegant studio that provides brides with this private, intimate space where they can just enjoy a one-on-one session with her. They can try on dresses, see what they like, get measurements, and just have like conversations with her about like kind of like what their vision is for like the wedding, so she can give you recommendations on the dresses. And outside of work, she is a mother of a 5-year-old and has other responsibilities, and that's kind of like the photos of her in the studio and her with her son. So my expectation, so when I first came into the internship program, I just wanted like real world experience to really immerse into the career field of the business that I wanted to go into. So I wanted to immerse myself. I think the placement has measured up to my expectations because I learned so much in the small amount of time that I do go there. And I go Wednesdays afternoon, so it's like once a week. But I think I did learn a lot from the time that I was there, and most importantly got hands-on experience, which was like the goal of the entire internship program. And I think it was super fun, and I think it did measure up to my expectations that I had. So the growth that I experienced throughout my journey is I learned a lot about dedication and time commitment that goes into running a business. So when you're actually there and see somebody running a business, you get to really see how it feels like to maintain everything and to run a whole company that you started by yourself. So it comes with keeping up with clients, checking emails, taking phone calls, putting in an order, maintaining a good social media presence, having a functioning, appealing website, and so much more. And you have to really be able to like multitask and network when you're being an entrepreneur if you want to get ahead. So you really have to like make connections with people. And what she does is that she reaches out to a bunch of brands and sees like what brands want her to like, you know, customize their dresses and sell them. So that way the brands are also benefiting plus also her. So she really started to like network in the beginning of her career. And for that fashion industry, you have to keep up with like the fashion trends and be updated each month, which can be a lot. So like seeing what like the fall catalog is, the winter one. Like if somebody's having like a summer wedding, they might want to have like a lighter dress compared to a winter one. So as a businesswoman, I think my strengths are public speaking, organization, and attentiveness. And for the goals for the second half of the year, so we just ended term 2 and we're going to term 3 and 4 for the school year. So for my goals for the year is just to stay motivated and be productive. And it is a short amount of time that I'm in my internship, so I really wanted to have like meaningful, and I really want to stay on track when I am there and get as much done as I can. Because I have a couple months in May I graduate, so I really want to take like the full experience and really do everything I can. And as a person, I believe I can be open to more criticism, so that way I can learn, grow, and apply the advice that I receive. Because the whole point is to like go into the real world. And at this time, when I have like, you know, you have a mentor, you have like Miss Andreessen who's here to like guide you and be supportive and like tell you what you're doing wrong, what you can improve on, and like what you can really do when you're actually running your own business in the future if you plan to do that, which I do. So. I want to learn how I can bring my ideas to life and how to fearless and take risks, so that way one day I can open my own business with confidence. In fashion, I want to learn how to create eye-catching designs that attract customers. So after I graduate, I want to like attend a university and learn about like brand management, about clothing, and about just marketing and how you really bring in everybody and also as an entrepreneur. And then eventually after I get my bachelor's, I want to start my own business. So I feel like this gave me a lot of experience, and I really got to see how it feels like to be in that field.
Does anybody have questions for Aisha? Okay, and as I said, some of our folks are just Wednesday afternoons because they have such a packed schedule. I do want to say that Samantha, that owns Art and Lace, if you've never been in there, it's kind of hidden. It's right near the Mallard in the middle of town, and it's so deceiving because it's in the little strip mall. But she has an entire curriculum that she runs with her interns, which is fabulous. and she loves Aisha, so I have a feeling, and I talked to all my interns about this, if you're a good intern now in high school, and then you're going to college for a similar field, those mentors are going to be willing to continue to work with you. And I know Sam feels that way about you. So I know she's super proud, and so am I. And I'm jealous that you get to work there. That's a cool aside. Thank you, Aisha. And then folks, Giselle was willing to pitch hit for us, even though she was really sick. And she's just going to talk to you a little bit about her placement, which you see every time there's a meeting.
Yes. Hello, I'm Giselle Pimentel, and I'm going to talk about journalism, which has been my passion ever since, I'd say, 7th grade. And I think that when I first thought about the internship program and stuff like that, I heard it at a school committee meeting when I was reporting. And I started reporting because I took Ms. Peckham's Intro to TV Media class, and she taught me how to use the equipment, which is very useful for me in the career of broadcast journalism. And basically, I heard about the internship program from here, and I knew Mr. Austin was at these meetings, and I had seen him work, and I was initially very nervous because ever since I was young, I always kind of idealized journalists and muckrakers and stuff like that. And so I really wanted to see if I could do this internship. So I talked to Ms. Prue about it, and then we were able to work it out even with his busy schedule. You see Mr. Austin out around basically everywhere, covering the entire town. It's really inspiring, honestly. And I also work with Mr. Moniz, who helps me with broadcast and helps me with tips for editing and software for producing my show. So at my internship, I have a show where I am able to do investigative projects. I actually named it The Muckraker. And the first project that I was able to do was on athlete concussions and CTE, where I was able to conduct interviews with people. So I was able to conduct interviews with our football coach, Mr. Freitas, our athletic trainer, Ms. Medeiros, and concussion awareness advocate, Michelle Pelton. And those were very fun experiences because I've always loved the human side of journalism, being able to actually talk to people and have conversations and want to dig deeper into things. Being able to produce and come up with the script and come up with my own research was really fun because I'm very much the type of person where I like to just have everything perfect when I create things. So being able to have that liberty is amazing. For the future, we've been currently working on episode 2, which is going to be on gambling addiction and the rise and prevalence of different forms of gambling, not just traditional. And we are currently in the research phase, which is really fun because every week I get to essentially, go in, find sources, find, graphics and relevant topics, relevant quotes in order to weave in to the TV show series, which I kind of wanted to inspire as a documentary in a way, the way that I wanted to film it. I really like Frontline and 60 Minutes. I like watching that sort of style for creating production. And it's going to be very helpful for me in the future because I really want to go into journalism in the future. I've been accepted to college and I want to go into broadcast media, and I look forward to their summer internship programs, which I've been accepted to, which is amazing too. I have some family members where they're struggling to find internships because they don't have the experience, because they were oh, I'm not going to do it if I'm not getting paid. But for me, it's it doesn't matter if you get paid or not. It just matters if you're enjoying what you're doing and you're enjoying that experience. And I think that that's very valuable. So just kind of spitball, but.
Did you share with the group what those possible internships are going to be?
Well, so Suffolk University has various different locations in which they can have internships, and 2 of those locations include the Boston Globe and Boston NBC. So that's pretty cool. Great.
I have to go the
So before I give you back your meeting, this is just a sampling of our kiddos, and we were hoping to get folks from all different placements to show you something a little different. As I said, our construction worker wasn't able to be here tonight, but we're really giving students opportunities to do what they love which makes their senior year so much more meaningful. And for some of them, they're like, I like coming to school now, right? And they love getting out, and you have to do well here to be able to earn being there. So they know they have to pass all of their classes, and they can't have missing assignments. So I think for some of these kids, it's really giving them that push to graduate. And everybody that interns is a little shocked about what working is and what jobs are. Our construction worker, he's learning how to inventory and purchase materials. He's learning how much fuel costs to drive, up to Brockton to a job site, deadlines and homeowners. So each one of them is learning so much. But like Giselle said and Aisha, every one of them talked a little bit about where they can grow and reflection, and that's huge. And we talk about authentic learning. This is it. And you might have thought of the other two girls like, oh, they presented their slideshow. That's great. Giselle heard about it about an hour ago, and she's like, yeah, of course I'll talk about it. So they're living it and they're loving it, and I'm just glad that I can be part of it. They're great kids. Good work, girls.
I can just give a shout out to Melissa Anderson. So she's also running our library, and our capstone coordinator on top of this. And when we do meet, and it is like, if it's 48 hours and I haven't seen her, like I send out the safety key, like where is she? But every one of those students that's doing an internship is also doing a separate curriculum that either like Aisha's mentor created or Melissa has created. So she's doing book studies with the nurse and book studies with the elementary school people, and okay, now we have a person in construction, so let's find something for that student to do. So it's really impressive what's happening there, and then as you all could see and everyone can see, the excitement and the passion that all three of those students had when they were in school, like that's what it's all about. That's what education should be all about. So it's just, this is super exciting. I'm so proud of these girls and everybody that's in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
You just brought me a lot of joy. Thank you.
Thank you. No, it's great. Working with these kids, it's amazing. Are you folks going to need this anymore, or do you want me to shut it down? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is also part of the
I think that's tremendous, and I would just say that not only are the students benefiting, obviously, by being able to sort of sharpen and define their interests, but obviously they're also giving back to the community. There's probably no more, we need local, thoughtful journalism now, maybe more than ever, and as well as the other areas that they're working in, so that's tremendous. And I guess my sort of like thinking about future conversations about this would be alluded a little bit to how sort of scheduling challenges as you try to like build this out, and what's needed to be able to provide more of our students with these opportunities. So that sort of logistical piece is very...
We have some ideas. We're working on it.
And then if there are other things that are needed to, other types of support that you need, that we can be aware of and assist with, that would be good for us to know, because I think we're all very much in support of this work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is student rep report. I know our students aren't here. I don't know, did they pass along anything, or? Okay. We can catch up at the next one. I'm sure they're busy doing all the things that they're going to tell us about. So. Okay, the next time on the agenda, we're actually going to table for a future meeting. The field hockey team are also engaged in a whole bunch of winter sports activities right now, so we hope to have the opportunity to recognize them in person at a future meeting. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the ski trip to Smuggler's Notch. You all have the information in your packet. And this is something we do every year.
this is the second trip already for this year, which is typical. Usually one in early January, then another one about a month or so later. It's fairly routine information compared to all the other trips that you have reviewed and approved in the past.
I assume you're in support?
Yes,
Does anyone have any questions? No. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the ski club trip to Smuggler's Notch for the dates February 7th through February 9th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Ashley and seconded by Mr. Pasternak. Is there anything further on discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Next on the agenda, we'd like to recognize our December visionaries. I'm going to do my best with names. We'd like to recognize Lily Connors, Independent, Carson Crisafulli, Resilient, Keegan Medeiros, Empathetic, Lily Miss, Academic, Lily Pacheco, Digital Citizen, Tiago Santos, Digital Citizen, Ella Souza, Empathetic, and Josh Ewan, Respectful. Congratulations to all those students for their hard work and meeting the vision of the graduate. Next on the agenda, we have to discuss and act on a revision to the student handbook. Come back to- Sorry. Toggling between. So you have this in your folder. It involves removing the under accidents and insurance, removing language about the school insurance policy. Does anyone have any questions?
Is this just housekeeping?
I was gonna,
Yeah, so this is, this supplemental insurance was something that was removed from the FY26 budget a year ago, but the corresponding language in the handbook was not removed. So we no longer have this insurance option. So we just need to make sure the handbook reflects.
thank you for that explanation. Okay, in that case, I would entertain a motion to approve the revision to the student handbook under the accidents and insurance section on page 17.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Ms. Ashley, seconded by Ms. Ferreira. Anything further on discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. The next item on the agenda is public input. I know Dr. Brailsford had.
So tomorrow afternoon, we're in the process of planning and moving forward with our career day, which is on April 13th from 9 to 11:30. It's the half day of the voting. And if you recall from 2 years ago, what we do is we bring in a myriad of people from the communities in various careers, and we run a school-wide Blue Raider block where we allow the students to pick where they want to go and look at different careers. And the way we're going to kind of ask students to make choices is to pick at least one place where you're really thinking about, this might be something for me, something you've heard of and maybe you might have interest in, maybe something that you've never heard of before. So what we did first is we surveyed the students, and we are finalizing today and first thing tomorrow a list of all the different careers that the students themselves are saying, this is what I'm interested in. And we're going to send that list out to our faculty tomorrow in the hopes that they are going to have some contacts for us so that we can send out formal invitations and get the process started. And I'm looking for some help from the people at this table as well, because I know everybody knows somebody, right? So we'll kind of send the directions. You'll have access to edit the Google form, the Google sheet, and we're just asking, like, if you know somebody, what their name, what's their contact information, we'll do the rest, but we're just kind of looking for a variety of different people and then a backup person in case that person can't do it. So what I don't want is 10 nurses and no one who's an electrician, when that's something that a lot of our students are asking about. So we're kind of looking look at the list, and like I said, everybody knows somebody. So I'm just hoping that you could all help us along with that. So you'll get that sometime tomorrow.
Absolutely. Is there anything else for public input? Okay. Next on the agenda under new business, we have update on track repairs.
Okay, so if you recall, last year, right around this time, we put out some bids to replace the turf. But at the same time, we also included, we were debating whether or not to include the track resurfacing as part of that overall bid, or if the time constraints would be difficult. So what we ended up doing is put the track resurfacing as an alternate bid, just to make sure we had an idea of what the pricing would be for that. So we did receive 3 bids. So this project, those 3 bids range from about $250,000 to $280,000. So we have an idea of what that work would involve. So this track, as you know, is 13, 14 years old at this point. It does have some spider cracking in certain locations. It does need to be resurfaced before the cracking gets to a point where a more extensive project needs to be completed. So I've talked with Mark and Kelvin from Activitas just about what the process would be. So I'm looking for some direction from you, what your thoughts are about putting that out as a bid for summer 26 work, knowing that it needs to be done. And that was part of the discussion that we had last year. The only other thing, and I know this says track repairs, but the only other thing that's come up since then is, and I've asked them to come look at it, is the condition of our tennis courts at the same time. And if that would be something where we would include maybe the tennis resurfacing as part of a base bid, or like we did last year, an alternate to get an idea of what that would involve as well.
So refresh my memory with the research. We just putting down another layer, or do we have to dig anything up? I kind of forget.
Another layer on top. It's a latex. The track is different from the tennis courts. It's a latex material, so it's more of it's like a resurfacing or something, a spray. I think that's the process that they would
So
follow.
we'll basically just be putting down that latex coating and then painting the stripes on and everything.
And getting another 8 or so years on it.
Now, when you talk to activists, did they mention anything, maybe like prices have changed around since
They
our
have.
last bid, or
They did not.
those are still in the ballpark?
Drastically different.
And the funding source would be the same as the field?
Stabilization.
We'll have to look at, we're in the process of certifying free cash. You're either going to fully exhaust stabilization and get into ED, then capital is one of the outstanding things I'm still working with you on.
That would probably be the time to put out bids if we want to do it this summer. And I agree with Mr. Schoonover, and that we should probably do it sooner than later, because we don't want to incur any further costs because of additional damages to the field if water starts getting into these cracks and expanding anything. So
Any other questions? No? Okay. Do we need a vote to have you solicit bids?
If you want to, I suppose making a motion authorizing me to work with Activitas to get some bids going for the track.
We're gonna add alternate, the tennis?
I'll talk with them about what the best approach would be for that.
I'm just saying, do we need to include that in our?
So I would entertain a motion to authorize the superintendent to engage in discussions with Activitas to procure bids for the outdoor track repairs and potentially the tennis courts.
So moved.
second.
A motion by Ms. Ferrer and seconded by Mr. Pasternak. Anything further on discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
Thank For the superintendent's report, we just have some typical staffing updates here. I did want to share, I shared information at the end of the summer. Dr. Brasford, Ms. Haskell shared some information at a recent meeting, just some assessments. But due to the advanced placement course taking and success of our students from the 24-25 school year, Somerset Berkeley was recently named for the third consecutive year to the honor roll in silver status. So just congratulations to our students and all of their AP teachers and to the leadership here for creating that culture, that college-going culture, which is what we are being recognized for. As I said, shared in the past, this past year we had the highest number of students ever, taking the highest number of exams, and having, I think, the highest or second highest course passing rate that we've ever achieved. So congratulations to all of them. In fact, there are three main categories where schools have to meet certain criteria. We're meeting gold status on 2 of the 3 levels, and we are pushing gold status on the third. So just real congratulations to everyone here at Somerset Berkeley for that achievement. The other thing I just wanted to share, and when we were listening to Emily Almeida, even though she's a senior last year, she was one of the students who was invited to the Student Civics Showcase at UMass Dartmouth and was recognized for the work that she did, she and her partner at Clifton. Last week we had the showcase for the students who participated in civics this fall, the first semester, and the projects were really outstanding, and all the kids who I talked with did an amazing job. So congratulations to them and to their teachers who helped guide them through that work. It really is a good display, a great display of that civic engagement. So to everyone who puts that together, from the coursework to the showcase event, it's a nice community. We've had lots of families come out and members of the community to listen to our students. So kudos to all of them. And then what you have here, just as I said, some staffing updates, resignation. We have a few appointments and some retirement announcements, so we will recognize some of these teachers at the end of the year. But we do have a couple of announcements that are coming out of the World Language Department and the Fine Arts Department. Marilee Bowers in art and Carmen Francisco in World Language, as well as Nancy Page, who is Ashton's administrative assistant in the central office. Excuse me. So we do have those 3 retirements. Ms. Page has about a month left, almost to the day. As I said, the other 2 will be retiring at the end of the school year.
Thank you. We wish them well on their retirement.
Yeah, we'll be able to celebrate them in due time.
And then Dr. Schoonover, I assume the,
Oh, I thought you were talking, I thought you said Brelsford.
Oh.
I don't know why, it just went up. Like she left.
the quarterly reports from Reeds and the collaborative, I think, are just
Did I
for,
skip over something?
that's okay. Is that just for our information? I don't think any actions. There's
No
in the
action.
folder.
I included the annual, really the second quarter report for the collaboratives is the annual report, which is approved usually in December of each year. So you have that information for information purposes. If you ever have any questions about either the Reeds or South Coast Collaborative updates, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Schoonover. Moving on, next on the agenda, under business and financial. First item is to discuss and act on a salary increase for our treasurer. And this is just an annual salary increase. What are the wishes of the committee? can make a suggestion.
It's kind of like, no, go ahead. What's your suggestion?
I think that we've been very fortunate to have Ms. Brandowski as the treasurer. For folks who aren't maybe aware, the regional district, we have to have our own treasurer. It's a part-time position. I think that we've already seen the benefit of some of her knowledge and expertise in terms of investments and strategies. I would start the conversation maybe, I think, trying to be consistent with some of the other increases for other positions. I wonder how the committee would feel about something like a 3% increase.
I'm throwing out a number.
It's a modest dollar number in terms of impact on our budget, but it's an important position, and I think that certainly, deserves an increased, I don't know.
I would be okay with 3%.
So does she normally get an increase at this, like the start of the time of the year? And last year it was 4%. I mean, I'm fine with
3%. I'm comfortable with 3%. I think we're heading into a little bit of financial uncertainty in all aspects of the world right now. So I think 3% I think is respectable. But not knowing what's going to happen, even short term down the road financially, I think it's a little bit safer to go that route. So.
Okay. Well, in that case, I would entertain a motion to approve a 3% increase for the treasurer's salary effective January 1st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Pasternak and seconded by Ms. Ashley. Is there anything further on discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So voted. Next on the agenda is the December financial statement. Ms. Palmer.
The December financial statement is in the Google Doc folder, and we are almost halfway through the fiscal year. About 80% of the budget has either been expended or encumbered, committed to be funded, which leaves us about 12% left that's unencumbered, unexpended. A couple of things to note: we're still working, as we talked about briefly just a little bit ago, we're still working with DOR to certify free cash. The only outstanding item is encumbrances, and mostly related to capital, finalizing the dollar amount that we wanted from stabilization and we're tapping into E&D. It also would impact the general fund on repayment of special education. With regards to grants, we've had programmatic approval of our last outstanding grants, which are the SR, or the title grants. We're still waiting for final fiscal approval. Once we have those, we will be able to make the adjustments from general fund to grants. At that point, we will be doing budget amendments. Right now, we're in this holding pattern until we get those two things finalized.
Does anyone have any question?
No.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is an update from the budget subcommittee. Do either one of you want to provide that update?
Sure. So we met as a budget subcommittee prior to this meeting. We established our calendar of when we will have presentations from the various departments. We have our public hearing of the budget scheduled for March 16th, and I believe our final vote on the budget will be April 7th, which will align with the date in advance of the Somerset elections, which takes place the following weeks. We feel that it's important to make sure that the budget is wrapped up before we, potentially have new members on the committee. We talked about some question marks that we don't have the answers to, such as information from the governor about the governor's budget. So that will be very telling. We're expecting that information hopefully later this week. We're also talking about, at minimum, a 15% increase in healthcare, at minimum. So again, we're still waiting on more information on that. But when I was referring to financial uncertainty, these were some of the pieces that I was alluding to. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I would just add, related, that we are in year 3 of 3 for our STA contract, and so obviously, and I think we were, we felt when we negotiated that contract that we were working hard to try to bring folks to comparable salary for other nearby districts, and we felt good about that. But that obviously comes with commitments we need to meet in this budget. So I'm just sort of keeping that in mind. That's obviously, everybody knows, staffing is your largest expense in any school budget. So the only other thing that I maybe would mention is that Ms. Pellerin, I think, wisely recommended that we probably should develop a capital plan. And we've obviously made some significant investments here. I think I'm proud of the work the committee's done to maintain and invest in the facilities. But we need a plan moving forward to make sure we continue that, and we know how we're going to pay for it. I was looking to see, Robin, you might be able to help me, on our current subcommittees, strategic, and it could fall under budget, but I also feel like there's a place for having sort of a separate working group as capital. I also think it would also bring other perspectives to the table, other than the folks who are working sort of, really focused largely on operating budget. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the committee would like to form a capital plan subcommittee, and who might be interested in serving on that. And we don't need to decide that right now, if you want to think about it and your commitments, but perhaps what we can do is the committee in agreement that we should at least form that subcommittee?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a good idea, and I'd be willing to serve if needed. Yep.
I think that would be great. So perhaps what we can do is, if we want to, I appreciate that, I think that would be great. If anybody else is interested, you want to think about it, maybe at our next meeting, we can just finalize the composition of that subcommittee. You can also email Robin and just sort of let her know you're interested, and we can
Are we thinking 2
finalize
members?
that. I think 2 to 3. Obviously, it can't be more than 3.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say 2 to 3 would be great. Okay, and I think that was it. Yeah, a lot to be determined. Our plan is we'll give regular updates to the whole committee, so that there are no surprises as we work through the process. Typically, we just sort of meet with the departments and go down the list. We do present a preliminary, have a public hearing, and then we can obviously make more adjustments until we have the final vote. So, obviously, both towns are facing lots of financial uncertainty and constraints. Do the best we can to be mindful of that while meeting the needs of our students and families and staff. Okay. Anything else? All right. Next on the agenda, under policy, we have the report from the policy subcommittee.
Sure.
Ms. Ferreira?
We had a joint and a Legion subcommittee meeting. We have a couple for second reading. Majority of what we did for us is we discussed the AI policy framework, which is in our folder. And then we also worked and discussed PAX, which we have on here as a new
place for exchange students. We also kind of tweaked that policy. It was kind of open-ended. Some of them we hadn't used in years, so we kind of changed it so they were approved for a certain amount of time and listed actually the names of the programs in the policy, so we would be aware of who we're using. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Are there any questions generally? We'll get into emotions. Okay. All right, so we'll start, next on the agenda are to consider policies for a second reading. I'll take these all together if that's okay with everyone. So I would entertain a motion to approve the following policies on second reading. Policy EFBA, this is a new policy on school food and nutrition meal modifications. An amendment to policy IHBG, homeschooling, and an amendment to policy IKF, graduation requirements. I have a motion to approve those on second reading.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Ferrer and seconded by Ms. Ashley. Is there anything further on discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Next, we have policies for a first reading. We're gonna
Skip to B first.
Yep.
Just because,
So I would first entertain a motion to approve the first reading of the policy, sorry, let me find it. JG, admission of international exchange students. This is an amendment. And it would be, sorry.
No, first, we have to make a motion to accept the new
The program
PAX
first?
into, because it is listed in the
then-
policy itself, yeah.
Okay.
Because the school committee has to approve
The
the new
company
program.
first.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right, sorry. So first, I would entertain a motion to accept the Program of Academic Exchange Program, PAX, as an approved student exchange company for 2 years beginning January 21st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Ashley, seconded by Mr. Pasternak. Anything further on discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Okay. Next, I would move to entertain a motion to approve an amendment to policy JG, which is the admission of international exchange students.
All right, so I had a couple of questions.
JG.
So, yeah, so looks like we're dropping the F1 but going to J1. Is that like just a change in
Yes,
the visa
so
requirements from?
we haven't used F1. I know Mr. Schoonover was in our meeting also. We haven't used that in years, and it is a cost to the school.
Okay.
So we decided that since we're not using it anyway, we took that out.
Right, and then here we're
Yep.
talking about the processing fees being dropped and then the cost of tuition being dropped. Is that being replaced with something else, or is it just completely free now to the student?
No, the reason we took that out is because we don't really have any control over it. That is based on whatever company they're
Whatever
using.
company is using it.
So we didn't feel it needed to be in there because it doesn't really have anything to do with the school district. That's why it was taken out.
Understood. I'm fine.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. So, let's see, we did a motion in a second.
Mhm.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. And then next on the agenda would be the Artificial Intelligence Policy Framework. This is new. I would entertain a motion to approve the first reading of the Artificial Intelligence Policy Framework.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Ferrer and seconded by Ms. Ashley. Is there anything on discussion? Sorry. let me just
I want to say thank you, though. Dr. Schoonover did a lot of work on this. This was not the policy subcommittee. So his team did all the work, the heavy
Yes,
lifting, so.
I've said in
yeah.
the past that MASC, this is one of the policies that they are not creating a template for. We need local districts to create their own. So unfortunately, there were, unfortunately, I don't know, there will be 300 plus different AI policies. But this is one that we worked with our own leadership team, AI leadership team, which consists of teachers and administrators from elementary to the high school and central office. So we know that this is a policy that will continue to evolve as the technology changes. This policy will need to change and adjust with it.
Thank you. Okay, I did a motion in a second? Okay, looking for a motion. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you to our friends on the policy committee for all that work. And to Dr. Schoonover for your work with the AI. Okay, next on the agenda, on the other matters informational, we have updates. Do we want to start with Berkeley Public School updates?
Sure. So we met on Monday of last week. Our actual meeting was just, our regular principals reports and such. We still have the Director of Business and Finance position open. The superintendent and her team have met with some candidates. They're still kind of going through, but she was pleasantly surprised by the number of applicants and their, what's the word I'm looking for?
Qualifications?
Qualifications, thank you. And their qualifications. So we're still working on that. The bulk of our meeting, though, was we invited the town administrator and our Board of Selectmen for the start of our budget discussions. Unfortunately, we're not looking any better, not even close, than last year. They gave us the direction to cut our budget from last year, FY 2026, by 6%, which is huge. So it opened up a number of discussions. That's what the bulk of our meeting was, where we're going to go with this and how ideas to make it work. An override is obviously something that's looking possible for us. It looks like that might be the only answer. So we will continue those discussions, and I'm sure that we have a meeting, a community-wide meeting the superintendent is hosting tomorrow night, to kind of informative with the entire community, and we'll continue those discussions and see where this takes us. That's where we're at.
Thanks for ending on such a positive
I'm
note.
sorry, I didn't come with any, but hopefully, I don't know. It's always a work in progress, right?
Yep.
So there's always something.
All right. Thank you very much. Updates from Somerset, K-8.
So we met on December 9th, and we had a report from our student representative. We had also a presentation from some North Elementary students about some different activities that are happening over there. We had an introduction to our new Surround Care Program champions. So we met the staff, so that was nice, and that program kicked off in January. So it's happening right now so far. We've had some good feedback. We recognized some students of the month. We had our November financial statement. We also had our presentation on student achievement, and that took up a significant portion of the meeting. And then we also had another meeting last week, but it was strictly a budget conversation. And at this point, a mostly level service budget would be an over 8% increase, and we know that that is not going to be acceptable to the community. So we have our work cut out for us, like like we all do. So we're gonna roll up our sleeves and see what we can do to be both responsible and meet the needs of our students and staff in the community. So wish us all luck.
Thank you very much. Okay, next on the agenda, topics not anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance of the meeting. I have none. Does anyone have anything? Okay. Next on the agenda, action items for future meetings. Does anyone have anything they'd like for us to address at a future meeting and already discussed? Okay. Well, if you think of anything, please just forward it to Robin and myself and whisper and we'll...
Yeah, just one question. Regarding the Berkeley budget, I think it's a stabilization fund that was created for some reason at Berkeley with the override.
Yep,
how many years
2018.
ago? 2018.
It's burned in our brains.
It's
that date.
seared.
Is the town administrator the one who is best to talk with about finding what the balance is there? Because I can't recall for how many years that was supposed to last. And I just don't know the status of where that fund is now. So I'm not sure if that's something for a future budget subcommittee or just something here, but I was just, it would be interesting to at least have that information.
Yeah, we've exceeded our anticipated life already, which is
Yeah,
great.
I mean, we had talked about, we're sort of like right there. We had talked about 8 years, hopefully, and we're pretty close. I mean, we started our override was twice, so we failed the first time, passed the second time, and we're right there with where it was supposed to go. I don't know I don't have the information on where the
We can
fund
get
is
from
at.
the town
the
accountant.
stabilization. But,
Or
yeah,
the
the
town
town accountant or
administrator.
the town administrator.
I spoke with him earlier today and I did not ask him, but I can reach back out. But I just thought that might be something as a future item, just so we all have that understanding here.
And not until May for a topic, but we're in the middle of what's now called IMR instead of the TFM and whatever the state reviews. They're coming on site in April. I'm in the process of submitting the documentation they want, so I probably have more to share about that the end of April or May. But just like that you know that's kind of occurring and I leave updates as we work.
Thank you. Anything else? Next on the agenda is to consider approval of the minutes. There's just one. So I would entertain a motion to accept the open session minutes of December 16th, 2025 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Ashley and seconded by Mr. Pasternak. Is there anything further in discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. And with that, I have nothing else. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Ashley and seconded by Mr. Pasternak. All those in
Right on.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody's opposed. So voted. Thank you, everyone.
That was just a delayed.